Hi, I'm Dustin Mason from Performance Lexus in St. Catharines, and today we're going to take a look at the Lexus GX 460 and compare it to the Toyota 4Runner. I know it's a little bit controversial of a video, but I wanted to show a little bit of the similarities and differences and how, in the used market right now, you're probably going to cross-shop these a little bit. So the first thing about the GX 460 is it is a 4.6 liter V8 engine, where the Toyota has a 4 liter V6 engine. Both of them are a little bit older of a design engine. Like for instance, the V8 only has 30 more horsepower than the Toyota V6. So a little bit difference there. They're both trying to get to different things. The V8 is gonna be a little bit smoother. That V6 is gonna be a little bit punchier, I guess you could say. So you have to kind of look at that when you're shopping for both. Looks wise, you'll notice the GX 460 has a little bit lower of a grille and bumper and has a little bit of more of that stylish downtown. You can take it to a restaurant and still be able to fit in with all the Lamborghinis and Porsches around. But as you start to go to the side profile, you'll notice the wheels tell you a little bit different of an attitude that the car has. And what I mean by that is instead of a 21-inch or 22-inch chrome rim, we have a little bit smaller, either 19, 20, 18, depending on the package, with a little bit meatier of a tire. Because even though it's a luxury vehicle, you can still take it off-road, which is why we're comparing it to the 4Runner over to my left. The 4Runner, right away when you look at that front end, you can tell that just the entry height alone tells you that it's ready to climb up a rock wall or a mud wall or whatever you're gonna do with your Toyota 4Runner, because it can pretty much do all of those things. This one being the SR5, it is sort of like their base model. We still have some fog lights and a little bit of a grille that starts more midway. However, if you've seen different looking 4Runners on the road, it's because there's really two big paths you can take with it. You can go the off-road or base model route, which has this grille, or you could go the limited, more luxurious look where that front end kind of comes a little bit more down. It has a little bit more of the GX vibe to it. So looking at the rest of the side profile of the GX, you can almost see a little bit of an identity crisis going on here. What I mean is you have those off-road tires at the front, but as you look at the side silhouette, we have little bits of chrome trims here along the handle, around the door frames, and this little very luxurious step bar that lights up at nighttime. And again, that's sort of that little cross between, is it a luxury vehicle or an off-road? It has a great height in terms of getting in and out of it. In fact, the back seats and the doors for the back seats are super solid. They sound great. If you didn't hear that, I'm gonna do it again. They sound great to get in and out. It's very easy. I'm 6'1", and the front seat and the back seat of the GX have lots of space for me. As well, that gives you a little bit of an idea of how tall that roofline is. Now over to the side profile of the 4Runner, there is no identity crisis happening here at all. You can tell it's pretty much as raw and rugged as you could imagine it to be, starting with even these fender flares. So we have a meaty tire here with a smaller rim and a fender flare on top that's painted, so it gives you a little bit of that protection from when you're probably shooting mud up the side of your vehicle. Not really any chrome, no step bars, which let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like the step bar? Do you not like the step bar? What I noticed is it shows that it's a little bit higher of an entry point there. So if you had to climb over a rock or something like that, I don't know, it's pretty cool. But again, I'm pretty tall, so it doesn't really matter to me. I don't need that step to get into it. Other than that, the doors, pretty solid. Really solid sounding, probably a little bit smaller than the GX doors. Not maybe a little bit in terms of height, but also just in width. I'd have to take a measuring tape to do that, but overall, I think I'd still be able to get in and out no problem. And even as you get to sort of that rear quarter panel, it stays really tall throughout. Some of the 4Runners have 3 rows of seats, some do not, and they just have a little bit more extra cargo space. And overall, pretty different vehicles when you look at them from the side profiles. So the back of the GX is exactly what you would expect any lifestyle vehicle to have going on. There's a lot. So it is very tall. We have this visor at the top here, which is hiding a rear wiper, which I always like. I don't like seeing the exposed wipers. We have a little bit of chrome here, a little bit of trim, a little bit of a shelf, but there's a lot of cool stuff. So one of them is you can open just the glass. So if you wanted to just throw something in there really quick, or if you had a little doggy in the back that, you know, you're at the beach and they could just kind of hang out with their heads out, you can do that. Or you can open the big barn door. Now, a lot of people hate on it. A lot of people love it. I think depending on your parking situation, as you can see, it does come out a lot from the vehicle. So you can't be, backed right up to a parking garage brick wall because you'll definitely scrape it. But for actually getting here, like I can walk right up and be able to manage stuff that's in that cargo area and the door's just out of my way. Now, probably in other markets that are right-hand drive, I'm sure it opens the other way because if not, that'd be super dangerous. But other than that, it is a 3-row SUV. This third row is down. That's where it's gonna spend most of its time. time because when the third row is up, you really only have like 4 inches of space. There's not a lot to be able to put anything back there. So it's kind of just like in an emergency, you can give someone a ride, but you'll lose your cargo space. As a cargo area, it is pretty big. It's a good height to load in and out of. That second row folds down, and I like the big barn door because it's different. I don't know, I just do. The back of the 4Runner, there really is no fuss going on back here. Still really good height. We have that wiper tucked away on the visor, which is always great to see. A little bit of chrome, a little bit of a shelf there and a hitch. But if you're magic like I am, you can just say, open sesame, and that rear window will roll down, which is great for if you have pets, dogs, if you want to load anything in really quick. Some packages even have a little handle or a little button here to be able to do, or you can use the key, or you can press the button from the inside. Super, super handy. The hatch itself just kind of opens up to the top. There's a little bit of play there, actually. There is a little bit of a shelf here. You can reach in and out. It does have 3 rows of seats in the base model and most of the models except for like the off-road one, I think. So with that third row up, again, there's not much space, just like the GX. But with it down, there's tons of cargo space. This one's not power, so you got like a little pull thing there, and it shuts and it works and it's fine for what it needs to do. So inside the GX, this is the fully loaded one. And there's always been a little bit of judginess from people who check out the GX because the interior isn't the over-the-top luxurious Lexus like you would see in an LS or even an RX right now. But it still does what it needs to do, and there's still lots of stuff going on here. One of the little cool features is even the armrest can slide individually. So if I wanted my armrest a little bit further forward, but my passenger might be a little bit shorter than me, they want to keep theirs back, you can change them individually and still open the big console that's inside. We also have some off-road buttons because don't forget, this vehicle is having an identity crisis and doesn't know if it's an off-road vehicle or a luxury vehicle. So we have, comfort and sport mode here. We can raise and lower the suspension. We have a high 4 and a low 4. And we also have a crawl control and terrain select that, again, you wouldn't see in like an RX, or I don't even think some of the LXs have it. And the inside, like we have, some little bit of hard plastic. There isn't the Lexus clock, which is surprising. It's actually just a digital clock. We have a touch screen that's sort of like an older Toyota one, but is quick, responsive, does the trick. Again, no one's buying this for those amenities really. They're buying it for other reasons. We have some wood grain around the steering wheel, some other buttons off to the left. This one being fully loaded also has some approach angle cameras, a wide front camera, some cameras that look at the sides of the vehicles, which is interesting. It's like a bird's eye view, but for like off-roading, I guess you could say. Has the sepia interior, which is like this really nice warm brown. Some buttons on the steering wheel, lane departure alert, some driver monitoring systems that are a little bit fresh for this year. Overall, I would say on the luxury scale, it's got what it needs to, but you can definitely tell that it wasn't meant for that. So a little hidden selling feature that's really advertised on the GX is the startup sound and how it roars as you fire it up. Let me show you. So in the backseat of the GX, it's a very upright posture, but since the car's so tall, I'm still pretty comfortable. This seat is pretty much all the way back right now. My knees are pretty close, but really no one's gonna drive with it as far back as I have it. We have some amenities, heated seats, a little bit of climate control back here, a little bit of wood grain, but nothing too crazy. It's mainly just to get people where they need to go and not feel claustrophobic, which is nice. So sitting inside the 4Runner, the first thing I noticed is the floor seems very high, which I guess I noticed outside the vehicle, but sitting in it, my knees are a little bit more bent. Again, that's probably for that ground clearance, but for a long ride, I probably would notice it. Other than that, it's pretty much everything you need. Everything is just kind of like a matte plastic. There is that button to move the rear window here, some heated seats, a really nice actual manual switch from high to low 4, high 4, 2-wheel drive. On the off-road ones, it's an actual lever that you can like slam into gear, and then on the more luxurious ones, it's like buttons and switches and stuff like that. I did notice the window switches are a little bit high, which I kind of like. I don't know why, but I like that. And even how to open and close the sunroof, the switch is very solid. It's like a instead of, just like floppy, weak plastic, it actually feels like there's some substance there. Pretty basic screen, but does the job. It's quick. It has your backup camera, everything like that. Driving position seems pretty, I wouldn't say it's a super relaxed driving position. I think it's a pretty upright driving position, which is totally fine. And that's pretty much all to comment on here. This one being the base model, it's not all the buttons. I know some of the higher end ones do have it. And it's amazing. They haven't changed much in this car, and that's why they're still selling so high in the marketplace, for sure, definitely. And just like the Lexus, the startup roar is another selling feature of this, especially with the bigger pistons because of it's a V6 and it's still a 4-liter. So let me start it up for you. The backseat of the 4Runner, actually pleasantly surprised. I thought because the doors were a little bit smaller that it would feel smaller back here, but the position is right. There's decent height above me. Again, the legs, the floor seems a little high, but that's okay. Back here, for some reason, it doesn't seem like a big deal. You put the center armrest down, it's pretty comfortable for 2 people at least. There's not really any amenities. I mean, you can plug in your phone. There's like a cigarette lighter style porch. Again, the switch is a little bit high, but back here, it's totally fine for what it is. I don't think the 3rd row is gonna be very practical. I'm not even gonna try it, but the 2nd row works for what it would need to do. And there's still like leather trim and stuff, so it doesn't feel super basic, which is nice. So there you have it, a comparison of a Lexus GX 460 and a Toyota 4Runner. I know it sounds silly, but let me tell you this. Right now in the used market, this executive 2018 GX 460 is selling for like high 40s, maybe just cresting into the $50,000 mark at the time of recording. The 4Runner is a 2019, so 1 year newer, base model, and is still selling for in the low 40s. So there really is a little bit of that cross shop if you can find a GX, because they're pretty rare, and actually the 4Runner is getting pretty rare as well. And in my opinion, the fact that these 2 cars haven't really changed a lot in 10 years has really maintained that used car resale value, because you can't really tell the difference between 1 year to the next most of the time. They're both Toyota products, they're both built super well, low maintenance, can last for a lot of kilometers, and you could take them off-road or to the restaurant downtown and still blend in and be versatile for both of them. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below of the GX and the 4Runner and which one you would pick, even if they're the same price. And let me know if there's any other comparison videos you want me to do in the future. I have been reading your comments, and I do have a list of a lot of them that I'm gonna get to. And please like and subscribe if you like this stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.